Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. First of all, you guys know the drill. If you guys would please smash that like button, I'd really appreciate it. If you guys could leave a comment down below, I don't care what it is, it super helps the channel out. Now, it's Wednesday morning, it's bright and early, we're back in the shop. Now, I know what you're thinking, it's been a little bit since we've posted on our channel. I took some time off after we hit 300 subscribers and 150 uploads just to kind of reflect and kind of get resituated and kind of maybe reinvent ourselves on the channel. And I have a whole bunch of new ideas I'm planning on bringing to the channel, so I'm super excited to show you guys that. But I did want to give you guys an update because we have been very, very busy in the shop. I've been slammed Monday through Friday, weeks on end, and I finally had to schedule some time for our Jetta build. So I had this week planned to work on the Jetta for the last month and a half or so. And unfortunately, I was busy doing a job on Monday, so that kind of ate into the day, and I have something to do on Friday. So out of the week I had planned for a month and a half, I'm only getting 3 days on the Jetta, but I did work on it yesterday all day, so I wanted to give you guys an update and kind of bring you guys up to speed on the builds because I'm very excited. So, as you guys know, we do have our 1997 Volkswagen Jetta. Now we are doing a Fast and Furious Jesse's Jetta tribute on this from the first film. We had this on the lift for a little while, a few months back, so if you guys want to go watch some of the older videos, I'll give you guys just a quick overview. But we had actually had it on the lift and we did all the mechanical repairs first. We went ahead and dropped the transmission, we did the clutch, the flywheel, the rear main seal, put the transmission back in. We went ahead and did the timing belt, the water pump, we did the thermostat, oil pan gasket, valve cover gasket, spark plugs, cap, rotor, wires, all that good stuff. Fixed some leaks while we were at it. New belts all the way around, and got it mechanically sound. It doesn't seem to have any leaks on the bottom, so that's good news. Runs and drives like a top, sounds awesome. Got the body torn down, so we got the door handles removed all the way around. We got the factory spoiler removed. We went ahead and took the mirrors off. This molding is actually off, and that's how I actually got the car. It was missing a molding. I did actually get a new molding, used of course, off of another vehicle. It's been off the car for about 2 years, and I went to set it up, and I'm just going to show you guys this. But our molding has shrunk quite a bit. So I'm going to put it on the edge back there and just show you guys how much it has shrank. So it needs to go about right there on the back. And if you come up here, you can see our molding has shrunk up about a good solid inch, and that is just not going to work. So chances are this molding shrunk up on us just being off the car, not stuck to the car. So no big deal, but we are gonna have to find a replacement molding, and we'll have to make sure we get it on the vehicle right away so that does not happen again. That molding was removed off the same year, make and model of Volkswagen Jetta. So just having it off the vehicle for the last couple years, just sitting on the back seat, it has shrunk up quite a bit. You know, I'm sure the car was hot at one point in the summer, but anyways, skipping all that, we've had a lot of fun lately fitting a lot of these body panels. Now this is a full Wings West body kit from Wings West. So you go ahead and take off the factory front lip, and you do have to cut off the lip of the bumper. And once you do that, you'll have a flat edge to mount your Wings West front lip to. So we went ahead and mounted our front lip. Now there is 3M double back tape as well, but we're not going to be sticking it until after everything's painted. And of course, so this is just basically a dry fit to make sure everything fits and get our holes pre-drilled and everything. We do have our Wings West side skirts. They're also polyurethane. They actually fit pretty dang good. They do give you a lot of extra material on the ends to shave down, and I actually had to remove some of their double back tape because it was just a little bit too tight of a fit to wrap around the edge of the factory rocker panel. So we went ahead and shaved down a little bit of the plastic on the front and rear on both sides, and it gave us a little bit more clearance to slide over the end cap of the fender. And of course there's double back tape up here, but we will not be setting that until after it's painted. But you can see we got a pretty nice fit. And I did go ahead and sink a couple screws in here. Now there was one factory hole that I utilized, and we went ahead and drilled another hole. Same thing on the rear. We did 2 screws, and we went ahead and utilized a factory hole and went ahead and drilled another hole. Now, these are just tech screws now, mainly for just a quick fit and marking our holes. When we do remove these panels to bodywork them and prep them for paint, we will be enlarging all the holes to 1/4 inch. Now that will allow us to either use a clip nut and a screw, or just go ahead and use some 1/4 inch bolts and nuts and go ahead and bolt it. So we will at least be enlarging the holes to about 1/4 inch on all the holes. We'll probably go ahead and set 3 rib nuts on the bottom of the factory rocker panel, and we'll go ahead and use some flat-headed machine bolts and go ahead and bolt our rocker right up to the factory rocker. And so these tech screws will not be there. So the tech screws are just strictly for marking the holes and getting a good dry fit. We will be enlarging them, which will also allow us to have a little bit of play for movement as far as adjustment before we actually do the final stick on. But basically everything is fit. So everything fit really good, fresh out of the box. I just had to do a little bit of shaving on the side skirts, like I said. Now on the rear lip, probably from shipping or sitting its life in a box, it was really out of shape, but at first it just did not look like it was gonna fit the bumper very well. And you can still see right now that we're actually, there's a gap right there. Well, what's under there is the 3M double back tape. That will end up sticking right there. It does fit pretty good. You can see it kind of hooks the corner pretty good. And you can see the bottom edge. Now when we paint this car, we'll be also painting the full rear bumper as well as this black textured plastic. We'll go ahead and paint that as well, just in case something shows, but it is for the most part covered, so we will end up covering that lip, and then we will be able to get our double back tape to fit right there. So I did have to heat this up tremendously to actually get this to form right to the bumper. We could add a couple brackets, but I believe now, even though you see that, I think once we actually go to stick it, it will hold just fine. Overall, the kit goes with the car really well. It fit really well. Once again, we shaved some extra material between the rocker panel and our factory rocker panel. And you can see that this fits pretty good. Of course, you know, once we stick it, you won't have your gaps, but lines up really good. Once again, we did our 3 screws there, and those will be removed. You can see our front lip there. Now this is a used OEM bumper. Our original bumper was no good. It was cracked in the worst spot possible, so we decided to source out a new OEM front bumper. Now we can't use an aftermarket replacement because with the aftermarket replacements, they make the factory front lip and the bumper itself a one piece in the mold. So when you go to cut off that lip, you will have nothing to mount the Wings West lip to, and it does utilize 3M double back tape here as well. And we went ahead and I don't know if we can show you, but I got some tech screws right there. We do have a screw here, and we have a screw here that we will be removing, enlarging the holes once again, and we'll be using a 1/4 inch bolt and nut, and we'll be bolting this lip to this as well as the 3M double back tape all across the center. And then once again, we have a bolt there and a bolt here. So along with some 4 bolts and some 3M double back tape, we got a pretty nice fit. Now overall, the Wings West polyurethane 4-piece body kit, I give it a 9 out of 10 as far as fitment. Anything aftermarket will require you to do some modifications and just a little bit of fitment, but overall this thing was really easy to work with, being polyurethane, and we got it to fit pretty darn good. Flares. Flares have been a sore subject around here on this Jetta for a while. I originally bought a set of flares probably about 6 months ago for this vehicle, and when I finally got around to actually kind of holding them up to the vehicle, they kind of fit, but didn't really seem to fit very good. So I kept saying, oh, we'll figure it out, we'll figure it out. Well, when I actually went to go figure it out, they were probably the worst fitting flares I've ever seen in my entire life. So unfortunately, I begged them and I sourced another set of flares from the company. Now I am very happy with the fitment. I didn't even pay that much for these flares, and they fresh out of the box. I didn't have to do any modification, they honestly fit really good, and they pretty much utilize factory holes. On the front, there's only one factory hole, so the rest you will have to drill. So if you look, I got one screw there, one screw there, one screw there, one screw there. So there's a set of 4 screws there. They do have kind of like some lips that tuck in behind the bumper, and they are notched for the molding. Now you could come in with a file if you want and fine tune that, but overall, it's a pretty darn good fit. Now the other set of flares that I had originally purchased had a piece of molding that was actually molded to the flare. So with that being said, you had to remove this, and it could only go in one position. And when you got it to fit here, it did not fit over here. And when you got it to fit here, it did not fit down here. And it was just a lot of pushing and pulling, and it just was not gonna work out. And being in this industry for as long as I have, I've knew they were gonna be a nightmare, and they just honestly weren't gonna work. And I'm super happy that I went ahead and chanced another set from another company, and this company did such a good job making these flares. These flares probably took about 1 hour to install, honestly. Once I was all set up and ready, had them installed in about 1 hour. Now they will be coming off. That was just the initial dry fit. These will not be the permanent fasteners for these. These will be coming off. A lot of times I just use these smaller screws just to mark holes, and then I'll be enlarging the holes just like the body kit, and we'll either use some clip nuts with some bolts or some screws and stuff like that. And that way when you enlarge the holes, you get that little bit of play and adjustment all the way around on everything, so you can really fine tune everything on the final go around. We will be applying some 3M double back tape to the inside edge of the flares. That way we not only get a good gasket to prevent paint wear, but we also get them to fit nice and tight. You can see right here there's a little bit of a gap, but I'm not worried, guys. You barely put any pressure there and it will stick. So with a little bit of tape, it will be on there for sure. If we were really worried about it, we could sink a fastener up from the bottom behind the bumper, but with the tape, guys, it's going to be sticking flawlessly. So the rear, pretty much the same way. You can see if I wanted to, I could come in and do a little fine tuning around this molding, but overall it fit like really nice and tight. I don't think I'm going to do anything, guys. I think I'm going to run them just how they are. They literally tuck in perfect there. I don't know if you can see that, guys, but with some 3M double back tape, these will be literally flawless. So super happy. Now on the rear, it actually did utilize factory holes, and I was mind blown because I had my drill all ready, and as soon as I literally went to go poke through, my drill just went through. It turns out there was just some like seam sealer and paint in the holes. So I literally just had to barely tap my drill once these were fitted, and boom, I pretty much found the hole on all 4 holes. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, those will not be the final fasteners. We will be putting some like either little clips. We'll be using screws, or we'll go ahead and enlarge them all the way, and we'll be using some 1/4-inch nuts and bolts. You know, something with a flush head, of course, in the end. So whatever we decide to do, we're going to keep it consistently with the entire body kit and the flares to make sure we have a nice clean look in the end. The spoiler, I'm going to lower the car down a little bit. So the spoiler is one of my favorite pieces by far. The whole Wings West body kit only took me about 2 weeks to get. The flares took about 2 weeks to get. I do believe the flares came from the UK, so that's understandable. Now the spoiler took about 4 weeks on the dot. I ordered it on a Friday, and I didn't get it until 4 more Fridays from then. So it took 4 weeks to receive this. Of course, it didn't really come with anything but some bolts and the spoiler itself, and it actually came with a little roll of double back tape. And so it didn't come with anything to actually help find the holes for the spoiler, but I've installed lots of spoilers before, so it wasn't too bad. I do keep some little plastic tabs, and these are called hole finders, from other spoilers I've mounted. So you put these in the hole in the holes on the spoiler, and you tape them in. And you can see I got 4 of them. Well, there was actually 6 holes on this, so I had to do it in a couple different sections, but I was able to use those, place the spoiler tape them down, lift the spoiler off, and there went ahead, I marked my holes. So then I was able to use a pilot drill and drill through the trunk. And of course I had to enlarge the holes after that. But the spoiler pretty much goes where it goes. You can see it's got a little tiny gap of clearance over the quarter panel. Now it's a tight fit on the rear lip of the trunk, and once again a little tiny gap. So there really isn't much places for this thing to go. Now when I actually go to permanently install this, this is a dry fit, this will be coming off of course to get some body work and paint. We will be installing a foam tape across the inner lip here and probably around the whole perimeter of the spoiler. It comes with 3M double back tape, but I do not want to double back tape the entire spoiler. That will be a nightmare if you ever want to try to get it off. I may put a couple strips of double back tape on the outer edges of the spoilers to kind of help it stay in place along with the hardware, but I do want to create a good safe foam gasket with some foam tape on around the whole perimeter of the spoiler. I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Now inside you can see, of course this will be cleaned up, but we had to use a hole saw and come in and enlarge the holes to get access to our screws. Now you can see I kind of slotted my holes, so we had a little bit of adjustment as what we needed, but you can see here it is a really tight fit. So when you go side to side, it looks exactly the same. So you can't go any more left or right, and you really can't go any more forward or backwards because of just the shape of the spoiler, which makes it super easy. You know where it goes. The only problem is you do have to drill. We are going to be removing this ugly old yellowed and dirty sticker, so we're going to heat gun that off, clean up the jam. We'll of course clean up the burrs on the edges of these holes and go ahead and apply some white paint so it'll look super clean. There's not really much we can do as far as the plug because of the curvature of the inner structure of the trunk lid, but we will put some good touch-up paint on there and prevent it from rust and stuff like that. So you can see here we had to pretty much notch, and I actually had to come in there with my augering bit and do a little grinding just to clear room. It came with Phillips screws. I might change those out for bolts, to be honest, but honestly they work fine. So anyways, I will probably put a little 3M tape on the left and right side. That will be easy to separate if the spoiler ever had to come off. But I'll tell you right now, if you try to put 3M double back tape around the whole perimeter of the spoiler, you're going to have one hell of a time if the spoiler ever has to come off for any reason at all. And so we will just be applying some 3M tape to the left and right sides, and the rest of it will get a foam gasket. Now the brake light, you can see it doesn't have a brake light, but it has a opening for one. Now I'm going to show you guys the brake light Wings West gave me. They gave me this brake light. Does fit the hole, sort of. You can see it's really slim, so it fits in there, but being angled, it kind of points upwards. The lights are only really visible from straight on. You really can't see the lights when you're looking at them like that. You can see the lights like this, but not like this. So really all we got to do is pop a hole here, and we'd probably put some 3M double back tape on here after it's painted. We'll go ahead and stick that in there. But after noticing and reflecting on some pictures of the original movie car, the light that they used was completely different. So I'm not sure why it took 4 weeks to get the spoiler. Not sure if they had to make it. I'm not sure if they were out of lights and they had to order one and they had to get like a different one. But the spoiler, the light that was in the movie car is not this light. So I'm gonna take a measurement here, and from what it looks like, it kind of looks like a canopy light or what you'd see on like a tonneau cover or something like that for a truck. So I am gonna take a measurement. I'm gonna go down to our local canopy shop and see if I can't try to find a light that better fits the curvature here. And of course the color is not gonna matter because we can go ahead and smoke it out, because all the lights on this car were pretty much all smoked out. So we will be doing some smoking. Worst case scenario, I can run this light, but it is not the right one, so I'd rather hold out and try to make it really correct as far as the original light. So there you have it. So today this will be blown apart and I'm gonna start doing some body work. Now the spoiler is fiberglass and overall super nice spoiler. Typical stuff though, you got some rough edges, little pinholes, chips, very rough texture. So we will have to sand this out quite a bit, and we'll probably have to do some very minor body work to it and put it in a sandable high build primer so we can go ahead and get it into a paintable surface. So overall came out really nice. It's just a little bit rough. That's not really anything Wings West did, it's just how these panels are. Flares have a textured finish. Those will have to be taken off, roughed up, and also put in a sandable high build primer so we can get them into a smooth paintable surface so we can refinish them with the car and actually have the smooth surface and not have that textured look afterwards. The kit condition, very smooth, but also a little bit porous and a little bit rough on some edges. So overall, we're just gonna rough these up real good because they are very slick when you get them. And we're gonna go ahead and make sure, you know, we try to find and locate and fill any pinholes or scratches or gouges or anything like that. And we'll go ahead and apply some plastic adhesion promoter, and we'll go ahead and apply a couple coats of sandable high build primer, which will give us a much better paintable surface once we are prepped and ready for paint. So today we are gonna blow the whole kit apart, and we're gonna get the flares off, the whole body kit off, and we're gonna go ahead and start working on that and get those primed. I would like to do a parts batch in the next 2 or 3 weeks and get some of these smaller pieces, the bumpers, the flares, the body kit, the spoiler, stuff like that all painted. We can put that upstairs in storage, and then we would just have to focus on the body of the car, which just has a few minor dings, nothing heavy, nothing rusty, just some scratches and some little tiny dings here and there. And of course we'll be doing a full body primer on this and get it into a paintable surface. Now we are still locating mirrors. We are going to order a brand new set of door handles. We're going to replace that antenna. We are going to do a brand new windshield. We need to repaint this trim right here on the glass, and the rest of the trim looks really good. So overall the car is in really good shape. Now last but not least, you can see we already started some body work on the hood as we've had some time here and there. We are not finished, we still got to finish up over that, but we have started. Now you can see there's a little bit going on here. You can see we have our Golf headlights. Now these are E-code headlights, which means in Europe they actually used a different core support on the Golf, I think, and the Jettas as well. So their Golf headlights will not bolt up to the USDM core support. So they do make a conversion bracket kit, which is right here. Now all they are is some 1/4-inch bolts and nuts, and there's 4 little like L brackets and like a little Z bracket. You can see in there, they're kind of hard to see, but there's not much to them. Now you can just make them, they're not very hard to make, but I figured for the time that I would spend goofing around trying to paint little brackets and drill holes and stuff, 50 bucks didn't really seem too bad. So I did pay $50 for the conversion bracket kit. So that will allow us to fit these E-code headlights in here. Right now they're just sitting in there. They're not perfect, they're loose. I was just doing like a dry fit just to kind of get an idea, because we do have to bend a tab on the core support up, and which will allow room for these to sit in there like this. And then these covers will be coming off. These will be painted white to match the car. These will remain the same. And this is a Golf grill. This isn't the Golf grill that we're going to be using. This is just an extra that we had laying around. The original Golf grill will have the Volkswagen emblem. Now we do have that inside the car, brand new, ready to go for paint. But we don't, knowing that we're going to go on and off with this grill a few times, so we didn't want to break any tabs, because these little plastic grills are pretty chintzy, and they don't like to come in and out very many times. So we do have a brand new grill in the car that is going to have the Volkswagen emblem, which will be painted to match as well. But for now we are using this Golf grill just for fitment, because we do have to custom make and fabricate a little grill to hood filler piece. Now the Golf hoods have a lip that come down just like this cardboard and fill the gap between the grill. So without doing that, if you want to utilize the Jetta hood like they did in the movie car, there was a company that had made this bracket that you could purchase, which would allow you to use the Golf grill and the Golf headlights on a Jetta car. That company is no longer in business, or at least doesn't sell the part anymore. Super hard to find. So not a big deal. This is just a really rough cutout of what we have to get going. So that's just taped on there right now. Of course, we'll be redoing this, but it just kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what we have to do. We'll probably make a couple tabs off of it, and that will bolt to the core support. We'll body work it, paint it white to match, as well as the grille, and there you have it. So not only do you have to do the conversion brackets, but it also, I had to order conversion harnesses. So it gives you the harnesses you will need to plug and play. We got those, we got the conversion brackets, conversion plugs. There's your headlights. All together, the headlight cost right there is about $500. So if you guys are looking to do this, please know that none of this is cheap. These parts are very hard to get, very expensive. Luckily, Wings West does make the kit, but even though it's just a little lip kit, it is not cheap. The kit and the spoiler included are very expensive. The flares weren't too bad, but everything is adding up quite a bit. So if you guys are looking to do a replica or a tribute build, just please know that you are going to be spending some money, and some of it seems kind of ridiculous, but if you want it to look correct and you don't want it to look off, you are going to have to drop some big bucks on this. So now up here you can see I have a binder. Now I started this binder when I first started the build. You can see here we actually have some photos printed out of the original hero car from the first film. Now these pictures were taken after the film was done, of course, before it was auctioned off. So some of the stuff has changed. Some of the decals have been added, of course, after the movie was filmed. But for the most part, this is what we are trying to replicate to the T. So you can see there, we do have to source these mirrors. We're going to be replacing our antenna. The wing is two-toned. We do need to source these side markers as well as smoke them. We need to go get ahead and get a new set of side markers and blinkers and smoke those as well. You can see there the filler panel that I was talking about. That will be cut over the emblem, which that grille is in the car. And then you can see the E-code headlights as well right there. You can see our Wings West lip, just like our vehicle. You can see the flares. So anyways, it is very good to have pictures like this printed out of whatever project you are trying to replicate, especially when you're trying to build a movie car to the point. So there you have it. I got a bunch of pictures printed out. That way we can reflect on things, because sometimes when you're working just off your memory, you will remember things differently than maybe they actually were. So anyways, good idea to print off some pictures, but there you have it, guys. And there's our 2SOONJR license plate with our official old stock tabs from California. Those were new old stock 2001 tabs. June of 2001 is when the movie was released. So we are calling this the 2SOONJR Jetta. Anyways, please like this video. I really appreciate it, guys. If you guys can, leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think about the build. Love it, hate it, I don't really care. Tell me what you guys think. I appreciate you guys watching. And once again, if you guys haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one.
Ooh, like LeBron, though, or like Bonzo. Ooh, I'm a baller, yeah, shot caller, yeah. They love me, you can't touch me, nah, can't trust me. I'm too lucky. Look at me, look at you, what you see, what you do.